Before I even get into this video, I'm going to show you a quick graphic. I'd like you to pause on it and see what observations you can make, and then we'll discuss. I'm guessing you noticed a couple things. So this is the concept of symmetrical inversion, and it's how we can use pairs of notes that are related, sort of like a mirror image, to create symmetry. And what a lot of pianists use this for is taking a passage in the right hand that is fluent and then translating it to the left hand using the same feeling of the same black keys and white keys. Hamlin made a video on it through tone bass. Josh Wright made a video on this. I want to say Graham Fitch made a video on this through the Steinway videos a long time ago. I'm sure many others have too. So this is not a new concept. What is new about it is a lot of people don't really teach you how to figure it out, especially in a really fast, efficient manner. And then you're left with comments like this that I got on my short the other day. So we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. So let me just show you this quick thing. We start on D, left hand on the same D. You'll see both hands are white keys. Go exactly one note out and you get two black keys. Then go out again and you get two whites. Continue this and you will always be matching on the color of key. So you're going to get two whites, two blacks, two whites, two blacks, two whites, two blacks, two whites, two whites, two blacks, two whites again until you're back on D. Okay, so a lot of people know this by now. So this video is not going to be teaching you what symmetrical inversion is necessarily. It's more going to be teaching you how to speed up your process so you don't have to translate one note at a time. In other words, instead of teaching you a language by saying here's one word and here's the translation of it, I teach you to translate the sentence and then the whole paragraph and that sort of thing so you can actually speak it fluently, so to speak. What does this look like? So back to the graph. I'm going to show it on screen here just in a small version. I hope you screenshotted it at the beginning. You can always go back and do that if you didn't. But just have a copy of this on hand because I'm going to reference it several times in this video. So basically a couple things are going on here. Notes have pairs that always work together. So you can see, of course, the keys colors have to match. So blacks always go with blacks, whites go with whites. But you'll also see kind of almost this implied harmony. So C and E are always a combo. I think like C major. B and F are always a combo. I think, you know, there's a tritone, so it's like kind of like that seventh. Right? And then you've got B flat and G flat always together. So that kind of forms this major harmony kind of a thing. A and G always go together. That's a minor seventh, kind of that crunchy sound, and it inverts to a ninth, G and A. So one way to just find the pairs a lot faster, instead of count from D every time, is start to think of like the implied chords they make. So for example, if your right hand is E, F sharp, G, I know that the symmetrical inversion of E is C, because it's like there's that C major. And then F sharp is the same as G flat. That goes with B flat. And then G sharp goes with itself. The only two notes that are the same are D and G sharp. You'll see on the chart there's that axis point, top and bottom, and then left and right are the Ds and the A flats. And those are the two that can be mirrored from there on out. First, just recognize the combos of two notes really quickly through that system. But then at the bottom of the chart, what I'm going to show you is this sort of idea that chords can be reflected to different things as well. So let's look at a couple examples. D major in the right hand. D, F sharp, A, right? Now we're going to reflect that. I'm doing it on D on purpose because that's the symmetry point, easier to figure out. Now if we go to the black key, keep in mind, many people have said this, but symmetrical inversion, when you do it at the same time, does not sound particularly good. It's not meant to. This is a mental exercise to understand it faster. So just so you know, in case it sounds totally wrong, that's sort of the point. But that said, here we have D major and G minor. Now notice a couple things. Whatever major chord you form in any inversion will always turn to a minor chord in the other hand. So if I do D major going up, then I go minor in the left hand, And vice versa. If I turn that to D minor, D, F, A, and then I do the inversions, then it's going to turn to major in the left hand. So we get... Now, why is this? Well, again, it's not really related to the harmony, it's related to the shape, the exact distance of the white and black keys in each part. So if we look at this, we go 1, 2, 3, 4 half steps up to F sharp. And when you go that way down, 1, 2, 3, 4, then we get B flat. Now I go 3 half steps up to A and 3 half steps down to G. What just happened? I reversed the order of the half steps and whole steps. What was a major chord, 4 half steps plus 3, becomes a minor because now it's, if we go from bottom to top, it's now 3 half steps plus 4. So by putting something in a reverse pattern, you're actually flipping the harmony of it. But there's a couple exceptions to this where that doesn't happen. Diminished chord is not affected because diminished is what we call an equidistant chord, meaning the distance between every single note is equal. So we have 3 half steps, 3 more half steps, D, F, A flat. Now if I go 3 half steps down, both times, it's still a diminished chord. It's a different diminished chord or a different inversion, but it's still a diminished chord. So diminished chords and augmented chords do not change because augmented chords are also equidistant. They're 4 half steps apart from every note. So keep that in mind. Then I put down some 7th chords as well because those are really common shapes. So I'm not going to kick into all of them right now, but I'll just quickly show them to you so you can hear them. If I do dominant 7th up, D, F sharp, A, C, then D, B flat, G, E, that's a half diminished. So dominant 7th becomes half diminished. Minor 7th becomes still minor 7th. It's a different minor 7th. It's not like just a different inversion. It's D minor 7th up and E minor 7th down. Because that's the thing. Remember, your letters are reflecting on a mirror. So by changing inversion, you're not changing the chord, you're just changing the order of the chord. If you're a little lost by this point, it's probably just because you haven't learned chords very well at this point, and that's totally fine. This is a more intermediate to advanced tutorial. It's not meant to be for beginners. If you don't know what major and minor 7ths are and diminished 7ths, just learn those separate and come back, but you could still probably get a decent amount from the first half of this video up till now. What I meant by I'm going to turn your sentences into paragraphs or even your words into sentences is when people teach this symmetrical inversion concept, they tend to teach it like note by note, and I'm showing you that you can kind of think of entire chords. So now let's use a real example. Let's say Chopin First Ballade, because everyone loves that. With this. Right? Something like that. If you want to practice this in the left hand, rather than thinking G, C, B flat, D, and like one note at a time, that's going to take you forever. But if you can see the chord of it and go, oh, this is G minor, and then D major, it goes down an octave, D major, back to G minor, then you can go, okay, minor chord reflects to major chord. So you just have to kind of find your starting 2 notes and the rest will happen a lot faster. G with 2 is A. Then 5 with C is E. Okay, now I'm thinking G minor becomes D major. So, again, this assumes that you know some of these things already. You would have to know chords for this to be helpful at this level. If you don't know your chords and your inversions, frankly, symmetrical inversion is not what you should be learning right now. But if you do, this will be really helpful. So, now we go to D major in the right hand with just a little extra non-chord tone there. And you do the non-chord tone going into G minor. So C major chord on the way down, minor chord on the way up. Can you see why thinking of it this way is a lot faster than thinking one note at a time, right? So now Now you just shift the octave, same pattern. Now we go back to the minor, right hand, and thumb goes outward from the body. See, I don't say it goes right, because then it would be left in the left hand. Just think outward, and you'll understand the symmetry better. So minor chord here going out, which means major chord here going out. And then we have it. Here we go. So it's not going to be full tempo yet, but okay, it's feeling a little bit better already, and I've hardly even worked on it yet. Let's see. It's actually almost there. That's like decent tempo. So the point is, I figured it out a lot faster by thinking of the harmony and how the harmony reflected rather than just thinking note by note. So that's basically it. Hopefully this clarified a few things, even if you've seen other people's videos on it. My recommendation with symmetrical inversion, do one hand at a time, and always, of course, use the same fingering. That's kind of the whole point, is you're just taking the exact shape of one hand and putting it in the other. But do it on everything: single notes, arpeggios, scales, chord shapes, melodies especially. Anything you can do, because it's going to really retrain the way your left hand works. And it works both ways. There are times I actually use the left hand pattern, and then I do the symmetrical inversion in the right hand in order to get more fluent in that. It's not just for the things that are hard in the right hand. So for example, I've been working on this recently. So Opus 10 number 4. You could take these. You know, the left hand gets a lot more practice with chords than the right hand does generally. So you could take that and go, let's see, do it on the fly here. Is that right? Yeah. Now it sounds like Stravinsky polytonality kind of a thing. Okay, see, even I have to think about it. There we go. Right. There you go. Okay, I'm not thinking out loud because that would take a long time. But you get the idea that I figured this pattern out in, I don't know, what was that, 30 seconds? Somebody's going to be all smart aleck and say, no, it was 47.3 or whatever. But oh, that last one, that transition. See, I already figured that out in the right hand. How often do we get a pattern like that in the right hand? Not that much. So I think it's actually helpful for developing both hands equally. That's the other thing I have to sort of add to what people have said about this before. So if you have any questions, just drop it in the comments below. If you haven't heard about it by now, I've got a free piano guide. It's the first comment in the description you'll see. And just sign up for it right away. You'll get it in your inbox immediately, and it's going to change your life. I spent like years and years of my research in my career writing down ideas and finally put them all into one place. So it'll save you a million hours. I hope you enjoy it. All right, talk to you soon.